Now that is a dope retro car. Let's take an image. Here's the thing with these old cameras. This particular Leica is an APS camera. What is APS? That's a good question. Let's cut back to the house and we'll have a chat. So what was APS film? APS, the Advanced Photo System, this was a film that was popular in the late 90s and the early 2000s. It offered several advantages over the traditional 35mm film, such as the ability to select different aspect ratios when taking the pictures. It had an easy drop-in loading system as well, which when you think about it, compared to the 35mm where you had to pull the leader across, this was a massive game changer for speed of loading. You could also store additional information like the date and time of the shot on the film itself. However, with the rise of digital photography in the early 2000s, APS film became largely obsolete. Okay, I'll answer the question, what is this camera that was in the background of one of my videos? One of the people that were watching asked the question, what is this Leica that you have in the background of your videos? And that's a good question. This is a rather strange Leica camera that I picked up for a very small amount, and there's a good reason why this cost next to no money. Let's take Higgins for a walk, because he needs his morning walk, and we'll have a look at this beautiful little Leica camera. So then, how is it possible to purchase a Leica camera for such a small amount of money? This may be the only Leica camera a lot of us can afford these days. They seem to have a cult following, and there's a good reason for that. Leica create a wonderfully pristine, beautifully made item. The camera itself is machined to perfection. If you hold an M9, an M8, any of the M models, those rangefinder Leicas, you will instantly fall in love. And then go ahead and have a look at the images that they produce. The film cameras, those lenses are absolutely beautiful. I love a good gargoyle shot. Look at that. I didn't think people outside of Transylvania use gargoyles, but apparently here they do. So why did I purchase an APS camera knowing that that film stock is dead? Knowing that what I have is what I have, that what's around the world is the last that will ever be of that APS film stock. Well, lots of people said 35mm was dead, and that has a resurgence. Will APS ever come back? Probably not. It's absolutely awful. I actually quite like organizing my negatives into a file, and I like the way that I can just take them out individually and then go ahead and scan them myself. And at the moment, that's not possible with my APS negatives because they get put back in the roll, you see. But a good reason to use these old APS cameras is the film stock is guaranteed to be expired. And I quite like those expired film vibes. There's going to be a lot of people that hate that I said that. What's the point? Why are you spending that money on expired film stock? Why don't you just buy a new film stock, Pan 100, Pan 400, the cheaper film stocks, and vibe with that? I just like it, you guys. Just like some people don't like whiskey. I like whiskey. Some people like mezcal over tequila. I like the vibes we get from expired film stock. Yes, you could buy a Fuji X whatever, put a film simulation in it, and roll with that. I also don't like that. I like the idea of using film, getting film developed. So that's why I use these old APS cameras with my remaining APS film stock and create images which I consider to be cool, personally. Understand, the first camera that I ever owned as a professional older person with an actual career was a Canon Elf. And I still have that Canon Elf. It is awful. It isn't awful. It's actually really cute. The good thing about these APS cameras is back in the day, they were able to really shrink down film cameras to these beautiful, pocketable, well-made, in a lot of cases, they're like titanium, pocket-sized, fit in a button-down pocket cameras. But then people clearly realized that the film stock itself sucked and it failed. But that having been said, the cameras that you get are wonderful. Higgins is pooping. I'm going to take a break and pick that up. Pick up your poop, people. Why do people still shoot APS? Several reasons, in my opinion. It has an aesthetic appeal. Many photographers and filmmakers appreciate the unique look and feel of film photography. Film often produces a distinct quality. It's like grain, color rendition, and sometimes digital technology just struggles to replicate this. It's a nostalgic feel. Nostalgia and tradition takes us back to using these beautiful older cameras. Like the tactile feel of working with film, of working with negatives. It makes us connected, makes us feel connected to the creative process of making images. I will never get rid of my Canon Elf. It was with me in my first tour of Afghanistan. It was in my dirty little pocket and I took it out and made beautiful images. And this Leica C11, it is a wonderful little camera. Yeah, it's bulky compared to the Canon Elf. It actually is a little bit more difficult to use. The Elf just seems more tactile. And because it doesn't have a Leica logo on it, you can still pick up these Elves for less than $10. Have a look on Goodwill, grab you one, get some APS, and have a go. Again, I love taking a beautiful little point and shoot out with me. There is a great yellow vintage Ford truck. Look at that bad boy. Good chance to test this lens. Wonderful truck, beautiful colors, APS film, so that picture will be awful. Will you please just indulge me for 30 seconds? Now I've shown you what an APS camera looks like. I've told you that the film stock is dead. This is my advice to anybody seeking something outside the norm. If you want to shoot, if you want to get a nostalgic experience, if you want to shoot something that isn't going to break the bank, can you just get a digicam? Please? This is the Nikon Coolpix 5400. It's one of the OG CCD digital cameras from back in the day. No, the vibes aren't going to be exactly like film, not even filmic, but it'll still spark nostalgia and you're not going to break the bank. You guys, the 4500 has this articulating body. And again, that is a CCD old school digicam. No, it's not going to give you film vibes. It's going to give you its own vibes, digital camera vibes, but it's slow. It's old. The dynamic range sucks. The colors aren't the best. All these different things make you slow down your photography. Will you get a film fix from a digital camera? No. Probably the best way to get a film look is to shoot film. Get some Kentmere 400, a cheaper film stock, and get you one of these cheaper Kodak F9 Ultra point and shoots, and you're gonna get film vibes. I mean, I don't agree with getting disposable cameras because they go into landfill, which sucks, and these are relatively inexpensive. If you don't want to break the bank, digicam. If you want to shoot film, point and shoot F9 or something like it. If you want to shoot crazy expired wild film stocks that they're not going to make anymore, APS is for you. If you want to get into photography, if you want to develop your photography, get a Fujifilm camera. The X-T10 is beautiful. This particular one is my favorite and it has film simulations. So that was this camera. It is a Leica camera. It is an APS camera. The lens is pretty good. The functions are easy to use. It makes me smile every time I pull the shutter. I know not to expect anything usable out of any of the images that I take, but they're like little pieces of modern art. They're like crazy Andy Warhol, Dali-esque, awful images that I can just print out, smile and laugh at, put in my albums and forget about it. Should you get APS in 2024? Absolutely not. Don't do it. Unless you are willing to sacrifice a little bit of money to have an interesting time with an expired film stock. Thank you for stopping in. I'm going to walk Higgins another few miles, get back home, eat some bacon, get a coffee, and have a beautiful Wednesday. Take care, everyone. I'll speak to you guys on the next one.